Hello everyone on today's webinar. My name is Jiří Valek. I'm a VP of Product Management at Newired. And today we want to speak about our brand new release, 23.0. It's a major release that we usually launch at the beginning of each year. And I'll be presenting a few slides, but I'll be also showing the product live. The webinar will be recording, and we'll share the recording with you at the end of the webinar. So before we actually start speaking about the actual new capabilities, we see more and more customers actually raising concerns or asking questions regarding security and privacy, and we would like to advise you to really ask any concerns or any questions you have with the security and data privacy. Maybe you are coming from the competing product where this was not well documented or conceptualized. In our case, the security and privacy is really deeply integrated into our core because we really recognize that as a critical differentiator also of our software. So each and every feature we develop is reviewed and assessed from the security and privacy data point of view. So if you would have any questions regarding security and data privacy related to any of the capabilities I will be presenting today, I highly motivate you to ask these questions now. I'm ready to answer it. Second, before we actually speak about the new features, let me explain a bit how we work. So I'm presenting today our brand new release 23.0. We follow the agile software delivery process, which means that when the features planned for major release are completed during a year, we do not wait for the major release to launch them, but we release them throughout the year. So this means that our major release 23.0 also includes all the features that we were capable of releasing during the year, such as single sign-on, enterprise identity management, such as the journey slideshow feature, which helps really the advanced users to use the Newired in a very non-disruptive way, or the personal analytics, which we will be also, let's say, speaking about today. So long story short, the major release contains all the features that we have been releasing throughout the year. And today I'm focusing only on those capabilities that have been launched in the last quarter of the year. And if you are interested in any of the previous topics, there are recorded webinars or there is a blog post for each and every release. So without any further introduction, let me really concentrate on Newired 23.0 and a couple of the capabilities that we have launched or extended our solution with these new features. The first one I want to speak about is the activity feed, which shall give you the insight into each and every activity user has performed within the Newired overlay. Before I will do so, I will actually jump into our let's say system. So you know that analytics are actually provided on the Newired portal, and you know that for the analytics we provide the capabilities to give you let's say the summaries or aggregated data that really speaks how are the journeys or playbooks being used by the different users, by the different groups, filtered by time, etc. What we launched end of last year already is the ability to actually track also the personal data. So again, due to the security and privacy point of view, many of you are not enabling the personal tracking at all. So a side note, anything related to the personal analytics is 100% strictly optional feature. But I mean, with the personal analytics, I can answer some of the important questions, such as who from my team has actually completed the journey. I'm presenting the demo environment, so I don't have here thousands of real users, but you see here let's see the generated traffic. So we see there are some users that completed the journey, and some of them would use it just, let's say, partially. So we see that a specific playbook, so in this case, we have a playbook called Basic Goals. You know that the playbook is a package of training assets that shall be completed. That's one of the typical use case for the playbook, to package, let's say, an important content together. And for the given playbook, I can really see who has completed it and who has not completed it in time. Of course, I can actually see it also journey by journey. And this is what we call, let's say, personal analytics. But the analytics were always focusing on actually aggregating the data together into an interface that I have the overall statistics about how are the people using the content that you develop to boost let's say, the onboarding procedures, or just improve the user acceptance of your target platform. What we added this time, and this is, let's say, fairly straightforward feature, is ability to not just aggregate the data, but be able to see what are the individual users doing on top of your site. Again, I mean, if the feature is not enabled, the personal analytics, you don't see any personal data, you don't see any usernames, but you can still access the, let's say, anonymous data and have at least some understanding if the journeys are or not working as expected. Of course, the great thing about the activity feed, or let's say, this is a industry standard capability, is that you can actually filter the data let's say anytime. So you can just, let's say, perform the user search from and search from any activities between some dates. And of course, you can also concentrate on some particular, let's say, assets. So for example, you see that there has been no journeys actually failing in a given context, but you can see that there might be some users who are, let's say, dropping off the journey. So you see that a particular user has dropped off the journey, or another one has actually, let's say, dropped from some others. This is really important because this helps you to actually understand better about your user behavior. You can contact the user later and ask for the feedback why he or she did not complete a specific training, or why the journey was stopped in the middle. Is it because the user doesn't need to such a, let's say, detailed guidance? Simply just, let's say, with the single goal to make the content better. Of course, what is equally important is that you can actually search for the, let's say, the content, orchestrate, and I was searching somehow wrongly because it's not completed. So let me just search. Again, I can search by any user ID, so I can search by user 1328. Or I can search by the journey name. I can search by the playbook name. The system is capable of searching the data freely. So once again, what is truly very important, everything that relates to the personal analytics is 100% optional feature. You can enable it in the administration area. So you see that on this server, the personal analytics are enabled. In addition to that, with the new release that we have been just speaking about, you can also enable and disable the personal analytics per each site. So in the previous version, the personal analytics were just globally turned on or turned off. With the new feature, you see that we also added a bit of advanced settings for the context of a specific site, where you can really enable or disable the personal analytics, screenshots taken, or the journey preview feature. So all the features that were in the future, in the past, globally configured in the Newired properties, you were able to just, for example, disable taking the screenshots for the exports to Microsoft Word or for the slideshow. You can now just let's say, disable it for one specific site, or other way around, disable it globally and enable it in the context of one particular project or a site, whichever terminology you prefer, while speaking about Newired server. The personal analytics with the improvements of the activity feed were apparently definitely something that we have been concentrating on the end of last year. We think that with these improvements that we have finished in the last quarter of the year, we are quite robust. We provide robust capabilities for analytics and let's see, personalization. And for the next couple of months and probably the first half of the year, we consider this feature really stable, and we don't have, let's say, the immediate roadmap to improve the analytics in the next 6 months. Now let's speak about the editor auto update. This has been a feature that we have been closely discussing with many of our customers. You know that the Newired solution is being distributed as a two, I mean, in a way of two primary components. The first component is the server-side Newired portal / server. This can be hosted on our cloud, or it can be hosted on your premises. That's the server-side component, which stores all the data. It stores the Newired journeys, the Newired tips, but it also stores the analytics we gather. It also stores the versions of the published content. So all the data are being centrally stored on the server. And then there is the application called Newired Editor. The Newired Editor is a desktop application. Why do we believe that a desktop application is the right approach to provide the editing capabilities? We believe that really this gives you the best seamless user experience to create or author the content easily without any disruption. So we have decided, let's say, to really package it in the standalone application. And what was the impact in the past was that when there was a new version of Newired, you were supposed to, let's see, update the Newired portal server if you were hosting it on premises, and always to also install the new version of the Newired editor on your local machine. So with the version 23.0, we change some, let's say, some of these approaches. So first, let's say the Newired server stays the same. So if there is a portal, the portal is updated to the latest version, either in our cloud or on your premises. But what's great with the Newired editor, that the Newired editor doesn't need to be updated all the times. Actually, there are two components that are part of, let's see, that defines what the Newired editor is. First one is the Newired editor package, which with every, let's say, every time you launch the Newired editor, it downloads or it checks, and if there is a other version, it downloads the so-called Newired editor package. This Newired editor package runs in the context of the application shell. And this application shell is very stable. We believe that we will need to update it very rarely, maximum once per year, but we believe that maybe even every second year. So in most of the cases, you don't need to install the Newired editor update manually at all. And you just, let's say, run or start your Newired editor, and all the, let's say, necessary runtime scripts and everything are automatically updated on your machine. It's a safe protocol. It doesn't require any IT involvement. And what is really important for those of you who are, again, focused on security and data privacy, most of you have the Newired server running on your premises, or even if this is in the cloud, it's the server which is dedicated to you. So what it means is that this Newired editor package is not downloaded from the public internet. It is downloaded from your IT environment. So there are no there is no way how it can be affected by the third party on a way it's really 100% secure protocol. So this really means that I can just start the editor. It automatically, let's see, downloads the new version of the runtime environment, and everything works as expected. This will also improve us ability to distribute, let's see, the service packs or the hotfixes. That when there is a hotfix, we just update the Newired server, and the editor takes all the resources automatically. Again, this is highly critical for the security and data privacy, because some of the hotfixes are related to updating of the third-party components that Newired, as any other platform, definitely includes. And if there is a potential, let's say, vulnerability, we need to distribute it in a fast way. And the fixes will get installed automatically once the Newired server is being updated. In the case of the cloud version, this will be processed by our support team. In case of the Newired being installed on your premises, this would require involvement of your IT, but at least it's a one-step operation, and the IT team doesn't need to touch each and every installation of the Newired editor. We also, with every release, we also focus on, let's say, listening for the simple enhancement requests that we are tracking as a result of the process of speaking to most of you, of our clients. And in this, let's say, a release, I picked one of the feature that me personally I was looking for a long time, and this is to the improved keyword search, or better, journey search in the context of the application. So if I go and I let's say visit our CRM demo environment, so that's where we typically demonstrate the Newired capabilities, you know that you can trigger the help button. This means that I can also search for the given context. In the past, you had to search for the phrase. So if you would be searching for create a new account, you would need to type create a new account. Otherwise, the journey would not be actually, let's say, selected. It wouldn't be filtered out. In the new version, there is a simple but very powerful improvement that I can actually search by keywords. Again, a very simple feature, but this is essential for the success of your users. And what we see, we don't search only for the journeys, we also search for the playbooks that includes the given journey. So we also see that the getting starting playbook has been, let's say, stayed in the list because it contains our create a new account journey. So the search protocol become more powerful, more user-friendly, and it really helps customers to or users to be more efficient with Newired while searching for the assistance. Because as you know, what is really important on the digital adoption, that it's not the concept of push, that you actually tell people what they need to be trained on, but anytime they need a help, they actually pull the information from the system. So they can search for the assistance, and the system offers the right journey for them. There has been more, and I want to remind you that actually with every release, we have a blog post available on the website. For, let's say, this case, we see that we also link all the previous blog posts for 22.1, 2.2, and 0.3. For those of you who have not, let's say, installed the previous versions, I recommend you to just check on the blog post what have been the additions to our portfolio in the past releases. And of course, as with any other release, we have also picked some of the really important bug fixes that we considered as important to mention while, let's say, speaking about what's new and noteworthy in this specific release. It doesn't mean that these were the only issues that have been fixed, but we think that these are the ones that, let's say, deserves attention and might be checked by your team and motivates you to install the new version. One note about the Newired editor auto update. Of course, because this is a new feature of the Newired editor, this capability is available starting 23.0. So for this release, for the 23.0, you still need to install the new editor manually. Just starting 23.1 and 23.2 and let's say and the following releases, you wouldn't need to install the editor manually, and it will be fully automated process. What we also decided while speaking about what has been new and noteworthy in the release we just launched, just to tease you what's the next big project in our R&D labs. And for this time of the year, we pick the project of easy segmentation. So what's behind that means that we want to provide you ability to segment the users easily and seamlessly by the Newired rules framework, which gives you ability to, let's say, reuse the visibility rules easily across the content. The segments will be fine-tuned for the very high performance. And last but not least, the segments shouldn't apply only to the visibility, let's say, rules like what is visible to what user, but it will allow you also to segment the analytics better, and you would be able to actually check what group of users have been using what journeys, etc. This will be, let's say, launched in 23.1. There will be a completely new interface to define the segments based on the rule engine, and to apply the segments on journeys and tips in a similar way how we apply the actual rules. So of course there is much more smaller improvements, etc. But just if you are interested in the segmentation capabilities, I definitely motivate you to contact product management. You can just send an email to Newired support, and we can schedule a call and let's say have a discussion, early access reviews, and you can share your expectations or specific requirements that you may have for a feature like that. That's basically what we prepared for today. I'll be checking the Q&A panel now, just to see if there are any questions, and we would have, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes to go through the Q&A. So please open the questions panel and ask any questions. I already see people asking questions, so I'll go one by one and start answering them. The first question is, can I search activity feed by date? Yes, I was presenting it. I mean, in the activity feed, as in everywhere in analytics, you can perform the search by, let's say, dates. In the activity feed, the search capabilities are located here on the top of the page. You can easily just search for everything, let's see, globally, or just what happened last week, last month, last year, or give any specific time range and filter what has been performed over a specific period of time. So the answer is yes. Second question I see, what is the app shell? Can you explain better? Okay, this was that's the feature related to the Newired editor. The Newired editor consists of two parts, as I said, the application shell and the Newired editor package. The Newired editor package is something which is, let's say, specific to the process of creating and running the guidance on top of any website. And the application shell is based on the third-party technology used by many vendors let's say, globally. It's the technology being used by Slack, by Visual Studio Code, by Spotify. So many of the, let's say, desktop applications today are based on the technology that embeds the web browser component. And anytime you need to, let's say, have a web application running in a desktop application with a specific controls, it's being used on a specific technology, which let's say we call as an application shell. It's a third-party technology, and this, let's say, is stable, but in case, let's say, this underlying framework would need to be updated, that's the only moment of time when we would need, let's say, to ask you to install the editor updates manually. In the roadmap, we also have, let's say, an entry that we would be also able to automate this process. It is on the roadmap for one of the next Newired releases. Check. Does the activity feed contain personal data? Let's say we don't send any additional data for the activity feed component. All the data that you see in the activity feed have been already there in the past releases, because we were using it for the, let's say, aggregated statistics for the journeys, playbooks, etc. So the activity feed doesn't contain any additional data, or there are no more data being sent to the server. That's why you can actually see the activities feed also for the let's say, for the older projects. What is, when you're asking about the personal data, as I said, let's say the activity feed is first optional component, and it needs to be enabled if you want to actually track such a data. So it's optional, based on your setting. It may contain the username who has completed the specific journey or started a specific journey. So we do store the information who did what, but we don't store any additional information in the current moment about, let's say, where is the user from, or what role he's working for, etc. Who can access the activity feed? The activity feed is a component provided by the Newired portal. So you know that only those people that can access the Newired portal can access the activity feed. So these are the same people that are typically responsible to publish new versions, to browse analytics, to define the translations, etc. Can I search in different languages? Absolutely. You can search in different languages, both when we speak about the search for the for the running application, or you can actually also search in multiple languages when working with the activity feed. So if you would be searching by playbook names or journey names, you can actually search by in the different languages. So this means that even if you have the content translated into multiple languages, you can search by Chinese names and it will still, let's say, return the journeys that have been translated into the given language. What is the difference between segments and visibility rules? Okay, so that's the question that speaks about the future, about what's coming in the next release. The difference between segment and visibility rule is that the visibility rules are evaluated to actually restrict, let's say, the presence of a specific journeys on the screen. The segments are different. The segments are actually defining qualifies the user sitting in front of the computer based on some different rules. And the information about the segments will be also pushed to the analytical part, so you would be able to segment also the analytics. So from a technical perspective, the way how you define rules or how do you define the segments, it's the same. So you'll be able to use the same rule engine as we stated at the beginning, but the segments are evaluated in a slightly different moment than the visibility rules. Is 23.0 already live? Yes, the 23.1 version is already live. Of course, the question is who is asking. So let's see, if you are, if you have installed Newired on your premises, I mean the Newired server, you can definitely download the latest version of our software and update the Newired to the latest version 23.0. If you are a cloud customer, so you are using the Newired in our cloud environment, you will be contacted by our support in a short term, and we will schedule the update of the system as usual. You know that we don't force you to install it immediately. We understand that you are working in the, let's see, highly secure environment very often, and you want to have the updates under the control. So we don't enforce it for a specific date, but we always give you a chance to pick a date when the server will be updated to the new version. So also the question, when is the 23.1 supposed to be released? Usually we take a quarter, so it's February, March, April. So around April this year, the 23.1 should go live as a first release towards the, let's say, the next major release, 24.0 in 12 months. These are all the questions I've seen in the list. So I think that we answered all of them. Give me 1 second to review it. Yes. So thank you very much for your time. As I said, you are already, let's say, on the new version. I know that some customers have been already updated. For those who are not on the new version, please have a look on our blog post, which includes all the information that I've been presenting today. We will share the recording with you, and we will have another roundtable webinar in maximum 3 months. Have a great day, and thank you for using our digital adoption solution.